There we go. We're up. We're live. Let me share the feeds real quick.
This is the part where everybody tells a friend, and that friend tells a friend, and the friend that tells a friend um, gets a sticker.
Oh, yeah, we like that. We like that.
Yeah, like a helmet sticker.
Oh, helmet stickers. I forgot about that.
We don't do those on Thursdays.
No, I know, but I forgot about that. Shoot.
Who do you give a helmet sticker to on the bye week?
Everybody just surviving, right? Those that survive the bye week, that thrive during the bye week. That's what it's all about. Let me move my mic.
Uh,
See if I sound better.
yeah, I'm AirPod mic, AirPod headphone, laptop camera, hotel backdrop, work trip.
Looking good.
Yeah, we try. We try.
All right, let's get going here. Welcome on into the Utah Blockcast, the live stream. This is our game preview, number 13, Utah going on the road to Waco, Texas to take on the Baylor Bears. Looking forward to this one. Bennett, you're already down there in Texas, right?
I am. I got to Dallas. I took the same flight you're taking tomorrow morning. I took it this morning, so got in 24 hours before you. Did some work, and then just had a nice steak dinner. And tomorrow I'll make my way down to Waco.
Love it. Yeah, I'll be down there tomorrow. So looking forward to getting down there. And obviously both teams for this one coming off a bye week. Utah 7-2, ranked number 13 in the college football playoff. The Baylor Bears 5-4 overall, 3-3 in Big 12 play. Also coming off a bye week and kind of going through some crazy stuff going on with Mac Rhodes having to step away from the university and his role as athletic director. And so there's some drama in Waco, but I was listening to Dave Aranda's press conference today, and man, that guy just knows how to get people fired up. Just listening to him, man, it's whew, you're just reminded of the passion and energy of college football and the coaches, man. That guy knows how to fire some people up.
Mr. Clean.
Dude.
Mr. Clean.
Holy cow, dude. Dave Aranda is one of the most unique coaches I've ever come across. He is unique, but he'll get results here and there.
Yeah, no, and that's why tomorrow Saturday's of interest, right? That's the guy that can coach in spots and win games when he's determined to do it. Baylor is a team that can score points, has a quarterback. It'll be a good test for a secondary that we think's pretty good, right? Right, Bartle? We think this Utah secondary is pretty good. Good test against Baylor on Saturday. But yeah, coach.
Yeah, no, it is.
Coach, big energy coach.
Oh yeah, big time. Obviously Utah ranked number 13. They're going to be fighting for their playoff contention moving forward. Baylor trying to get to bowl eligibility. So both teams are going to be, though they're at different levels of success, both are going to be fighting for something. And I think for Dave Aranda specifically, this is going to be a game that would help his cause a lot. He's kind of skirted the hot seat over the last little bit, and with the 5-4 record and the money that was invested into that program this offseason, I think there's some growing noise around him and his job. So this is an important one for him and for Utah. Obviously, like I said, they know what they need to do. They've just got to take care of their own business, win out, and it starts this week against Baylor. So we're gonna break this one down, talk about some matchups and everything like that. really looking forward to this game. With Baylor and Waco, I went down for the 2023 contest, the one that Nate Johnson led the comeback on, and it was fun to be down there. Looking forward to getting down to Waco. This is going to be a 5 p.m. kick on ESPN2, and looking forward to it. So, Ben, I want to throw something your way first of all, though, and talk about just kind of where we're at. So, I published a piece at KSL Sports today, that highlighted Utah's player leadership, and I was going through quotes from earlier in the season, and this one stuck out to me from Spencer Fano. So he was asked, I can't remember if it was at Big 12 Media Days or if it was during fall camp, but he said, and I quote, "I definitely do think this is a critical year for our program. Last year was a bit of a fluke, and we're trying to prove that that's what that was." And so I ask you, Bennett, has Utah done enough to this point of the season at 7-2, number 13 in the playoff ranking, to prove that last year's 5-7 mess was a fluke, that it wasn't the standard, that it wasn't Utah football, that it wasn't a trend? Have they done enough to this point to kind of prove that point?
The hay is never in the barn.
Good answer.
I mean, indications are this is a better football team, right? There's a lot of fun that this team's having, a lot of fun that fans are having watching this team play football. But at the end of the day, there could still be a spiral. There could be a bowl game. The bowl game could be part of that spiral. Could lose 4 consecutive games, and I think everybody within the program, just hearing some of the mentality, how do you approach a bye week? How do you come off of a loss like the BYU one to get a result like the one you got against Colorado? And then how do you take the momentum from a win against Cincinnati and maintain that through a bye week into a road game, leaving the first time since September, leaving the state of Utah for the first time since September? The mindset around the program is very much, that one step at a time, 1 week at a time kind of thing. And I think the players are absolutely right. Like they want to prove that last year was a fluke, but they also understand that the mission is not accomplished yet.
I think that's a very fair point. And talking to the players this week, again, all focus was on Baylor. They know what they need to do, and it starts by taking it, one game at a time. The old cliches and the coach speak, as much as we get sick of hearing it sometimes, it's exactly what you want to hear, at this point of the season, right? With so much riding on each and every game, each and every play, all of it matters. And I think to have that sort of focus is going to be important for Utah as they try to stay, on the bubble essentially with the college football playoff and improve their outlook for the future, right? So this is more than just this season. This is pretty significant for the future of Utah football as well. And I think they kind of understand. I shouldn't say kind of, but I'm positive, in talking with players and coaches, they have a grasp of what that sort of success can have on the program and the future of the program.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And no matter what the postseason ends up being, if Utah finishes 10-2, goes to a bowl game, and just finishes on a positive note, any way you chop that up, that is a positive trend for the future of the program. So there's a lot up for grabs at so many different levels, no matter how you break it down. So,
yeah, for sure.
I totally agree.
Would be curious to hear from the chat just your thoughts on this season compared to last season, right? I just 12 months ago, I think last season was one of the most difficult runs in quite some time for Utah football fans. There was not a lot of things to find joy in last season. It was tough. And I'd be curious just to kind of get some comments, some thoughts from the chat on what maybe the biggest difference has been this season. What's been some of your favorite moments of the season? And what do you think has been the biggest difference for Utah this season? So would be curious to hear from you guys. I've got a couple chats rolling through here, so we'll start to get those highlighted as well. But any other thoughts, Bennett, before we move into the matchup?
I was just gonna say the chat kind of feels like it might be coming back from a bye week a little bit, a little
Yeah.
like gotta knock it off. Like
Yeah.
we got football to talk about, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
think everybody's in a chili dog coma.
oh, yeah, I was just talking to D Tier, the keeper of curses, and I just had to run one by him, and I'd be interested in your thoughts, Bartle. I actually made a post that I was a dummy for not taking one of those chili cheese dogs from the tailgate before the Colorado game, and I'm like, I'm a dummy for not taking one of these. And now it's like this like good luck thing, and they're asking me to eat the chili cheese dog, and I'm like, I don't think I should because
Yeah.
I said no in the first place. Like I want the chili cheese dog. Don't get me wrong. Like look, I'm a guy. I want a chili cheese dog. With football, yes. But I said no in the first place. So
Yeah. No. No. If you passed on it the first time, you got to keep passing it. That's just how it goes.
I hate that that's what
You
it
know,
is. But
yeah. No, I
anyway,
had to eat mine tonight, so I had to keep it going. And so it was good. It was quite tasty. Made sure to run to Harmon's, get the quality product there, and yeah. So, anyways, enough chili duck talk. Let's get to the key matchups. So, Ben, I'll ask you first. Just when you look at this Utah Baylor matchup, where do you look at first? Like, what are you most interested in with this matchup?
yeah. Who's gonna contain Trigg? Um, Big body target for Sawyer Robertson in the passing game. I guess if we're looking at just one group versus another, one idea versus another, Baylor's pass attack versus Utah's pass D. Utah comes into this, Bartle, with top 10 pass defense in the country, according
They're
to
up
passing
there.
yards per game. Just using I think they're 11th going into the last week or into the
They
Cincinnati
are
game. Sixth now.
sixth in terms of yards per game allowed.
Yeah, and no disrespect to Sorsby, but Sawyer Robertson was my QB1 coming into this season of football. And while his team hasn't played to the level, his defense hasn't played to the level that has allowed him to be part of conversations that mean anything outside of what we're having right now, because Utah plays Baylor on Saturday. Sawyer Robertson's a good quarterback, and potentially the best quarterback in terms of a pure passing kind of guy that Utah's played all season. And that's something that this team, if you want to talk about some postseason stuff or talk about next steps, you need to see Utah's secondary tested. So I'm really interested in seeing how Utah's secondary performs against Sawyer Robertson in a Baylor passing attack that can light it up, and a big-bodied, forgive me, was it Michael Trigg? Am I ignorant?
Michael Trigg. Yep, Michael Trigg.
All right. I wanted to say it, but I was second-guessing it. Trigg, just remember the name. He's good. He really is good. He's going to be a problem, and that's, if Utah can contain him and let the other guys get little this and that, totally fine. But that's the matchup that immediately jumps into my head. Sorry for getting long-winded there.
No, you're fine. You're totally fine. For me, it's the Utah rushing attack against this Baylor defensive front. And I don't think we have to ask anymore if Utah is going to be able to establish the run. The question is now, can the opponent stop Utah's, or at least limit Utah's rushing attack? Because outside of one opponent this season, Utah's gone pretty ham this year on the ground. So coming into this one, Utah number 34 in the country in terms of EPA per rush. Baylor number 94 in EPA allowed per rush. So a pretty good difference there if you're looking for a favorable matchup just in terms of EPA. and then you look at some of the more the minutia, the finer details of this matchup specifically. Utah getting 3.5 line yards per carry, while Baylor has given up 3.1 line yards, which is second worst in the Big 12 behind only Cincinnati. And we just saw what Utah was able to do against Cincinnati, which again, it was competitive. They were a tough defense, but still, I think Utah was simply able to establish their run game and go for 267. And then just some of the raw numbers. Baylor giving up 177 per game, second most in the Big 12, 4.5 yards per carry. Utah coming into this 267 per game and just a tick under 6 yards per carry. So that to me is, I think we hit it, on the head, right? This is a Utah rushing attack versus a Baylor passing attack, and who is going to be able to stop the opponent's strengths the best. And I've got some numbers that we can run through where I feel Utah obviously is going to have a pretty favorable matchup in both cases. So yeah, I think this was a great start to the matchup. So I know that we're kind of getting through this pretty quick, but I want to get to our winning recipe. You got your winning recipe, Bennett? I want to make sure that you're ready and prepared.
Hey, listen. It's been a long work week with some little travel and whatnot. But sometimes you just get home and you gotta look in the cupboard and look in the fridge and see what you got. And I'm sure I can talk through a winning recipe for tonight.
I love it. So I'll go first. I'll give my first key ingredient to the winning recipe this weekend. And I just talked about some of the raw numbers for Utah's run game, 267 per game. For me, the first element in my winning recipe is balance the rushing attack across the line of scrimmage. So Utah has done, a much better job the last couple of games of distributing runs to different parts of the line of scrimmage. That's provided some diversity, in terms of run looks that defenses have to account for, and it's forced defenders to, respect each area of the line of scrimmage of the run game, and it forces them to play with even more discipline, right? So we talked earlier in the season that Devin Dampier demands discipline, and I think finding balance across the line of scrimmage in terms of where you're running and the rush distribution, all of that is really, really important. And so, as I was looking at some of the numbers for Baylor's rushing defense, a couple things stood out to me. So, Baylor obviously not great against the run in general, but what really stood out was the rushing yards allowed to the right side of the line of scrimmage for Utah, or not Utah, but for the opponent. So looking at some of the numbers going back to the Auburn game, they gave up 5.7 yards per carry to that right edge against Auburn, 4.5 against SMU, 2.8 against Arizona State, which was pretty impressive. And then it gets kind of crazy. So 7 yards per carry against Oklahoma State, and that was on like 7 carries to that side of the field. 1.5 versus Kansas State. I looked into Kansas State's rushing distribution. They're just not very good running to the right side. And then 12.8 yards per carry against TCU, 7.2 yards against Cincinnati, and 8 yards per carry to that right side against UCF. And so coming into this, given who's run blocking on that side of the field for Utah and one Spencer Fano, I think that is going to be a big source of rushing production for Utah, is that right side of the line of scrimmage, as it typically is. But again, I think it's going to be important to find the balance across the line of scrimmage just to force Baylor to respect all areas of the field. And then it's going to be about guys like Spencer Fano and Michael Mokofisi and Dallin Bentley collapsing that right edge, because Baylor just seems to have a real soft spot on that line of scrimmage there.
I like it. I went first ingredient, limit the explosive plays. We talked about the passing attack already. I think that's one of those ways that Baylor can hang around, find themselves in a game that Utah might feel like they're kind of holding Baylor's head underwater, and those explosive plays can help them get out from underneath. So gotta limit those. Can't give Sawyer tons of time. I think Utah does outstanding as far as generating pressure and even getting home, and would expect to see some of that on Saturday to help limit some of those explosive plays, and should be able to do so with a base 4-man rush.
That's so perfect. That transitions perfectly into my next key ingredient. It's all about the decock this weekend. Kyle Whittingham said it best that you've got to make Sawyer Robertson uncomfortable. And, that doesn't necessarily mean sending 5, 6, and 7 defenders each and every play like you did against Colorado, but it doesn't necessarily rule it out either. I think the big thing when looking at Sawyer Robertson is obviously he struggles just like any other quarterback when under pressure. He's completed 38 of 78 passes, which is roughly about 40%, for 627 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, and a QB rating of 86.9. When blitzed, Robertson actually performs quite well. So he's completed 53 of 87 passes for 733 yards, 8 touchdowns to 3 interceptions for a 104.2 QB rating. So this is going to be kind of the chess match of the game for Morgan Scalley. You want to be aggressive, but obviously with the way that Sawyer Robertson has performed against the blitz, you got to protect yourself. You got to keep people in coverage as well. So to me, this is going to be about getting pressure with the base rush primarily. And I think it's going to be important to change the picture on Sawyer Robertson more than anything else in coverage. So that could include, some different coverages that we see. We talk a lot about Utah's man coverage, and I think that is going to continue to be really important. That's just their identity. But I wouldn't be surprised if Morgan Scalley dips into the bag a little bit and shows off some different coverages in this game. And then, I started looking at some of the pass protection numbers for Baylor, and there are some really encouraging numbers and indicators for this Utah defensive line. So among the Big 12, Baylor has the number 3, the number 6, and the number 18 ranked linemen in terms of pressures allowed. So they've allowed the 3rd most, 6th most, and 18th most pressures in the Big 12 among all individual linemen. Utah, on the other side of the ball, have the number 3, the number 11, and the number 32 ranked defensive linemen in pressures generated. So Baylor's right tackle's given up 24. Their left guard has given up 17. And then they've had 2 left tackles rotate in over the last couple games that have combined to give up 21 pressures. So that means Logan Fano, John Henry Daly, and Jonah Lea'ea, who has 13 pressures on his own. I think he's up there in terms of defensive tackles in pressures generated. Those guys are going to have to eat this week, and that's going to be a big key for me. So the base rush, and you like some of the indicators there for Utah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like this is going to be one of those things where, Cam asked that question of, was Utah this good or Baylor that bad? Like, I think this is going to be one of those. And, your second ingredient kind of funnels right into my second ingredient, which is to just be the bigger team, period. Just out physical this football team that you're about to strap up against on Saturday. And everything should more than take care of itself, both offensively and defensively.
Love that. For me, the final ingredient is defending the Mackey Awards semifinalists. So not only, you mentioned Michael Trigg, and he's fantastic. I think he's got 40 receptions for over 600 yards. But Utah also has a Mackey Award semifinalist in Dallin Bentley. And I think it's important to remember Dalton Kincaid was robbed of the John Mackey Award in 2022. I think it went to an Iowa tight end, and you look at some of the numbers, and Dalton Kincaid just trumped every tight end in that race and was not awarded the Mackey Award. So still kind of bitter about that, obviously, but I digress. In terms of this matchup on the season, Dallin Bentley has totaled 32 receptions for 383 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he's not putting up the same sort of production that Trigg has up to this point. And, the last 2 games specifically have not been the best for Bentley. He had 2 receptions for 14 yards against Cincy and then 2 for 34 against Colorado. Given the fact that I think there are going to be some Mackey Award eyeballs on this game, I want to see Bentley still the spotlight in this one. So for me, this is going to come down to who actually defends the tight end better. Is it going to be Utah or is it going to be Baylor? And looking at some of the numbers again, so far this season, Utah has given up 13 completions on 22 targets to tight ends, and have only allowed 92 yards, no touchdowns, and have gotten an interception on those targets. Whereas on the other side, Baylor's given up 24 completions on 33 targets for 229 yards and 3 touchdowns. So for me, I want to see, like I said, I want to see Bentley still the spotlight. I hope that this is a game that Utah tries to get him pretty heavily involved again, because I do think there are going to be Mackey Award eyeballs on this game, given the fact that you have 2 semifinalists in this matchup with Michael Trigg and Dallin Bentley. I want to see Bentley still the spotlight in this one.
I agree. I like that. Good call out. And my third, I know this is cliche, but when you're playing against a team that you feel like you gotta beat, should beat, whatnot, don't beat yourself. Keep it simple. Don't beat yourself. Don't have the penalties. Don't have the turnovers. Don't have the mental mistakes. Don't beat yourself, and you should win this football game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you're the favorite like this, like Utah is, especially on the road, it's important not to beat yourself. And that includes coaching decisions, right? Just allow your guys to make plays, get the points on the board when you have the opportunities to get points on the board, and let it be, right? I think that's going to be a big thing, is not beating yourself. So I'm glad you mentioned that. All right, dude, we're flying through this. Let's get to some of these over-under predictions. I'll go ahead. I'll lead us through that. You give me your quick thoughts on each one. So over under Utah rushing yards, 270 yards.
I'm gonna go over 270.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big day. Again, just looking at a lot of the numbers, and I'm going to give Dave Aranda some credit here. I think, given the bye week, there is sort of this X factor. They did a good job against UCF in limiting the run, but that's one game. And I think Utah's proven that they can establish the run in a multitude of ways. They can run it outside. They can run it up the middle. So I'm going to go over, given the matchup here. All right, next one. Over under 215 passing yards for Utah.
I'm going to go under here. Not by much, but I'll go under.
Yeah, I'm going to go under as well. I think 210 yards, right around there, is something that is going to be the goal, right? I think just having enough to provide balance, I think that's going to be the key. So I'll go under there as well. Baylor passing yards, are they going to go over under 250? Currently, Baylor's generating. You're going to go under. Okay.
I'm going to go under. I think there's going to be two things that play into that. One, I think Utah does have a good pass D, and 2, I think Utah's going to try to just limit possessions in this game. I think Utah is going to, try to chew clock and just limit some of that production that Baylor might otherwise have in a normal game.
Yeah.
So I'll go under.
So Robertson has only gone under 250 twice this season. He went for 245 against Samford, which obviously you understand that was probably just halftime. And then Cincinnati, he went for 137 in that game. So again, I think given Utah's ability to control the clock and and limit possessions and drives, I think that's going to be a big factor. So I'm going to go over, but only slightly. I want to go under, but I'm going to go over just slightly. I think Utah does enough to still really limit Sawyer Robinson, cutting 50 yards off of his tally. But I think that's going to be the tough test, and I think Baylor has enough where they can still generate a lot of production, get some explosives potentially, and that. But I think Utah's going to do a good job of limiting the amount in this one. Now, with that, Utah sacks. Are they going to go over, under 3.5?
I'm going to go under. I'm going to give them 2.
Okay. I will go. Oh, man. 4 sacks would be. Oh, man. That would be big. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna think. I'm gonna say John Henry Daly. He's gonna get back in the sack column. He's gonna add another one to the tally. I think Logan Fano. I think Utah's gonna find a way to generate pressure. Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I think they get 4 in this one. So,
I
all
hope
right.
we get to revisit that one and just be like, this guy called it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Couple more here. Sawyer Robertson, over under 59% completion percentage.
I'll go over just slightly, like 62%.
Yeah. Looking at his numbers, he's only gone under 60% twice, and he went 56% and then 48%. He only threw for 137 against Cincinnati, but he still completed 69% of his passes. So they just didn't get a lot of opportunity to get the ball down the field. They didn't have a lot of throws. He only threw it 26 times in that one. So that's pretty interesting. I'm gonna go over.
Yeah, I think playing from behind that might like hinder some of his completion percentage. Like he might be throwing some of those deeper shots, taking shots more frequently. But, yeah. Okay.
And then first Utah player to score a touchdown.
Good, Daniel Bray.
Ooh, Daniel Bray. I'm gonna go down Bentley. I'm gonna say that Utah makes it a point of emphasis to get him a touchdown. I think he scores the first one.
You know something?
I don't know any. No, I don't. I don't. It's a narrative I've created today, and I'm putting it out there. We got a Ryan Davis vote out there. Ryan Davis scoring the first touchdown. Could see that. Could definitely see that. Yeah, could definitely see that. Man, how about him, dude? How about Ryan Davis this season? Who saw this coming, dude? Who saw this?
Devin Dampier.
Not me.
Jason Beck.
Man, oh man. Utah's like, all like fans? Told you not to worry about this guy. they've got a list of them, dude. They've got Ryan Davis, John Henry Daly, Jonah Leah. They've got the all-time list of told you not to worry about this guy. That list is long this season.
It is a yes. Trey Reynolds,
Jackson Benny. Just the list goes on and on, dude.
Benny.
Yeah.
Oh man. Who are these Utah guys and all this developing and
No, it's impressive, and I think it says a lot about the coaching. So, all right, dude. We cruised through this episode. Any final thoughts before we wrap this one up, man?
No, it feels good to. I guess I shouldn't start off by saying no as I proceed to give final thoughts. It feels good to be back from bye week. Took some much needed time away just to relax and whatnot, and spent a lot of time on work. 3 weeks. I can't even talk. 3 weeks of work travel in a row are coming to an end with this Utah Baylor football game as the cherry on top. So enjoy this weekend and buckle up for this home stretch. It's gonna be fun. There's a lot of different ways to root down the final stretch, and got to win every Saturday. So it starts with this Saturday for it to continue to matter. So it's fun when things matter in November. So yeah.
Love it, dude. Yeah, like you said, really, really enjoyed the bye week. I think it was nice to reintroduce myself to Kendra and to Miles. They've forgotten about me because it's just full go. So got a question in the chat. Any injuries? You saw the report yesterday. None to report, dude. They're healthy, and that's genuine. Like, that is genuinely the case. Utah's in pretty good shape. They've got some guys that are dealing with bumps and bruises, tweaked ankles, and that sort of thing, but nothing crazy. Nothing to worry about. Utah's good on the injury front. You snuck that in there at just the right time, Paul. So good on you.
Thursday update did come out, and it's still none to report. So
Yeah,
it came out
Utah's
while we were here.
Yeah, Utah's in good shape, like genuinely in good shape. So they've done a great job of prioritizing rest and recovery during these bye weeks, which wasn't the case in years past. So a much needed change on that front. So yeah, man, we'll wrap this one up. Appreciate everybody that hopped in. I think we're all kind of shaking off, like you said, shaking off the bye week rust. Looking forward to this weekend. You're going to be down there at the game. I'm going to be down there as well. I fly out tomorrow. We'll be doing a post-game live reaction show and probably a pregame show. Hopefully, we got to figure that out, figure out some of the logistics there at the Baylor Stadium. But we'll be out there. So looking forward to the game. Any questions, comments, feel free to hit us up afterwards, and we'll do our best to answer those. And just another reminder, you've got the Twitter space going up here in about 20 minutes. Looking forward to that. Shout out to the boys. Shout out to the Father Stu. Looking forward to the sermon this weekend, or I should say tonight, and looking forward to it, man. So appreciate everybody for hopping in, for tuning in. This is always fun, and we'll end it there.